Honorable President of the Constitutional Court, distinguished leaders, representatives of high judicial bodies and institutions in Turkey, excellencies, ambassadors, representatives of member states and other European countries, dear project partners, ladies and gentlemen. It is a pleasure to be with you today at the opening of this EU-funded project supporting the individual application to the Constitutional Court in Turkey. Your presence clearly demonstrates your support for this institution to be able to act as a reliable and trusted legal remedy for the citizens of this country. The role of the Constitutional Court in a democracy is to uphold the Constitution, including the principles and practice of fundamental rights, equality, anti-discrimination, rule of law, independent administration of justice, and separation of powers. With the constitutional amendment introducing the right of individual application, the Constitution stipulates that those who claim their fundamental rights and freedoms have been violated by public authorities may apply to the Constitutional Court. This serves the effective protection of fundamental rights, providing adequate redress to individuals in case of a violation of their rights by administrative or judicial decisions. In its Hasan Uzun against Turkey decision of April 2013, the European Court of Human Rights established that individual application to the Constitutional Court is an accessible domestic remedy, as demonstrated by the high number of applications filed. Some of the judgments concerned high-profile cases the Turkish public was familiar with. In 2013, the Constitutional Court ruled that the detention of two suspects had exceeded a reasonable amount of time and their right to be elected to Parliament had been violated. They were released from prison and could take up their mandate in Parliament. Similar decisions followed in other cases, and as a result, all elected members of Parliament were released from prison and took up their mandates. In 2014, the Constitutional Court rulings improved trade union rights by legally protecting workers in small companies against dismissal based on their trade union activities. The Court also lifted the ban on striking for private sector employees in banking services and urban public transport services. In the same year, the Court found that banning Twitter and YouTube had violated freedoms guaranteed by the Constitution, and access to both was restored. 2 months later, the Constitutional Court found for the first time that hate speech on grounds of sexual orientation constituted a criminal offense. Just like these past landmark decisions, the Court's ruling last Thursday that the rights of Cumhuriyet Editor-in-Chief Can Dündar and Ankara Office Chief Erdem Gül had been violated strengthened confidence in the delivery of justice and guarantees of the freedom of the press, one of the essential foundations of the European Union. The right to individual application as accessible domestic remedy is an important tool in the protection of human rights, which of course has to be complemented by others, guaranteeing fair trial and the rights to liberty, freedom of expression and assembly. Rulings of the Constitutional Court, in conformity with the established case law of the European Court of Human Rights, demonstrate not only that it must be, but also that it can be a bastion of rule of law and of respect for and protection of fundamental rights, of the utmost importance also in times of fight against terror. As you know, the project we are launching today is at the service of the priority chosen by Turkey to turn the individual application mechanism into a real tool for the enhancement of human rights in Turkey. It is the result of extensive preparations and highlights the fruitful cooperation between the Constitutional Court of Turkey, the Council of Europe, and the European Union in this crucially important area. The EU is supporting this project with over 4 million euros as part of our cooperation and engagement in the framework of Turkey's accession process to strengthen the institution guaranteeing rule of law and fundamental rights, to empower the judiciary in line with the EU acquis, to guarantee rights and freedoms under the European Convention on Human Rights and the Constitution of the Republic of Turkey. The 36-month project includes extensive capacity building training for judges, prosecutors and lawyers, as well as efforts to make the public more familiar with the mechanism of individual application. It started in January, and I am pleased to see both the strong ownership shown by the Constitutional Court and the strong interest shown here by stakeholders. I wish all the participants success and an outcome we can all be proud of, serving the Constitutional Court's vocation to be an indispensable element of the protection of fundamental rights in Turkey. Thank you very much for your attention.